Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. In Dumb Faerûn, our heroes are preparing for their next adventure in the fortress. Butthole spoke with Ginny about faith and tried to convince her to become a cleric, while Quinny visited his parents and discovered Declan and Honour System were being trained as farmers. Can these two futuristic terrorists learn the gentle art of growing plants? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Quinny, the two latest members of the Fortress of Forlorn Hope, the most recent refugees to arrive, are perhaps the strangest to date. You, of course, have encountered robots before on the island next to the stack. And you briefly met Declan in a variety of tiny window to another multiverse-related shenanigans.
A little coin-sized portal, yeah.
Yeah, the shooting of Emily and Butthole's weird double resurrection of Declan. But now you find them approaching you in slightly different state. They've been here for a little while now. They're starting to get settled, although obviously there's a pretty large adjustment period. Ryan and Tyler, what do Honour System and Declan look like in Dumb Faerûn? He says as he hears the sharpening of digital pencils preparing to draw new outfits.
I think Honour System looks... Well, the clothes that he wears are relatively the same. But as for his appearance, he was in pretty rough shape by the end of that little escapade there, their adventures. So I think... I don't think they have the technology, like they're Warforged and whatever and stuff like that. But not here, not now. So I think I think he's really, really, really pared down. I think he sort of, if you wanted to attribute like human attributes to him, he would look really emaciated. Just his barest kind of functional requirements. So he looks much, much leaner, almost frail in how he's pieced together. And I think he shows that in his movement a little bit. I think he's a little slower and just a little more fragile looking.
Oh, our sweet boy.
Yeah,
Tyler, one thing I do want to just flag for you, not necessarily as something that Honour System would have explored yet, but there is some like BioShock style heavy... Honestly, probably kind of useless for Honour System unless you really retrofitted. But like heavy metal upstairs in the lab that was used to make Mechie Mouse, as well as some of the troll, like to build a troll suit. So there is some stuff around. I just don't know how, Knight of Catalina he wants to get as he rebuilds himself from like a slim ninja to possibly a bulky cauldron of a robot, but. In the interim, emaciated sweet robot boy is present. And in terms of clothes, have you replicated your robes, or are you just kind of au natural these days?
I think in an effort to being one of the freshest faces here at at Forlorn Hope, he's acutely aware of any kind of resources he might be taking up. So I think it's very, very basic. I think it's just like a robe that he's got tied off kind of thing, and some beat up looking like work pants.
Cool. Yeah. And Ryan, what does Declan look like?
Yeah, so Declan is trying to accept the world that he is now living in and the fact that he is not an endless mercenary, which means he only spends 3 or 4 hours a day planning how to upgrade Honour System with the new metal, and he's only spending a couple hours a day trying to figure out gunpowder so he can build more ammo for his rifle, and he's only spending a few more hours a day upgrading his armor from the future to be more useful against medieval weapons. But when he is not doing that, he is trying to just blend in and be one of these weird, old-timey people. So he is exactly the same physically, but he is wearing large denim overalls that almost hang off of his frame because they're 2 sizes too big. One would assume they may have been made for Butthole, and instead Declan is wearing them. He has no shirt underneath. He's wearing a large-brimmed straw hat that just covers him in a big circle the whole way around. And he has one of those long hay things with the seeds on the end poking out of his mouth. And he's just leaning on like a shovel. But it's fascinating because he's rigged up the farm implements that he has, his shovel, his trowel, his other things, on a bandolier that wraps around his chest, and his shovel is slung where his rifle used to be, so he can still instinctually put things away and take them out. So it's one of those where they wouldn't know why. They would just think this is a weird guy, but if you look at it knowing him from the past, it's like trowel on the right hip, like that weird little garden rake on the left. Like it's everywhere he would have a gun is now just a different farm tool on his overalls that he's ready to work with, and just like big, ugly work boots.
There's something like really beautiful about the whole like guns into trowels thing. And yeah, I also like that you're basically just a Fortnite character now, where like you just have a shovel where a rifle would be, because why animate twice when you can only animate once? That's excellent. I was also hoping one of the two of you would have a giant straw hat. I don't know why it was so clear in my head that for some reason one of the two of you would.
So good.
I like that a lot.
We're farmers now. Every farmer wears a large straw hat.
Yeah, that's what the internet told me. So with all that in mind, Quinny, what is your impression of Declan and Honour System as they approach?
It's definitely weird that they're here, you know? Out of everyone who doesn't belong in this dimension, these two very clearly don't belong in this dimension. Like, this is not where they're from. And especially Honour System, I think, as a, you know, like an automaton or like a metal golem, that to have that level of sentience is weird as well. Sometimes he forgets. This is Quinny's internal thing, because people, I feel like people would hate him to hear him say this out loud. But he'd be like, every now and again, he reminds himself like, oh yeah, you're not actually a person. Just whenever he's interacting with Honour System. And with Declan, I mean, he kind of likes Declan a little bit. I think he reminds Declan of kind of his older days, being a little bit more of a rowdy rogue as opposed to the more kind of humbled person he's become now. And so he kind of likes that about him, but it also, I think, gets annoying in fair, like, I think every interaction starts amicable, but does eventually get heated or kind of terse because they piss each other off. And then they break and things are fine again.
Great. So, given that your sort of salvage, your little salvage run there was to bring in things specifically to make more gardening tools, and they're kind of coming to greet with that purpose. What? How would you greet them, or would you?
He would definitely clock Declan having all of the gardening tools and be like, "Hey, you're sharing those, right?"
Yeah, no, I'm just carrying him around to keep things efficient on the scale of things. I got a question for you, because I'm realizing we're kind of the reverse of each other, and I'd like to know if you got any tips, because I'm talking to your parents over here. Turns out you were a born little farm boy who became, you know, a psychopathic little murderer. And I'm a psychopathic big murderer who's trying to turn myself into a little farm boy. So, like, what's the easiest step for me to flip this around?
I mean, if we're talking about what kind of put me on that path, one thing I didn't do was listen to my parents. So listen to my parents, and you'll be fine.
All right. So these can be my parents too. That seems nice. We can share it. Oh, that makes you my brother. My little brother.
And like Penny and Ford are chuckling at that too. They think it's great. They are also kind of enamored of the future folk, as Penny keeps referring to them. You know, being ones who like really like hospitality, having two people who are like really busted up and completely out of their element is like a real good get for the Penny Ford contingent. And Ford says, well, one thing we always like to say around the Brown Barrel House is that there's always room for more friends and family, as long as there's enough tea. And he like leans in conspiratorial and he's like, and you trust, believe you me, there can always be tea.
Okay, well, this one doesn't need tea, okay? Just like points to Declan.
I thought you were going to say
one.
the Tin Man there because he physically can't have any. But
I guess
think
he
this
doesn't
fella
need tea.
gets
That's
some
right.
tea, Quinny. It's only polite.
Sure, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense, actually. Yeah, I guess that one doesn't need tea, right?
And then suddenly, like, Ford's face falls and he says, well, actually, I'm making an assumption there. Hey there, Mr. Metal Fella. Do you do tea?
No, I do not do tea.
Would you like to?
No.
Well, okay, see, there it is. So that's great. That means there's definitely enough tea to go around. We'll have to stretch it a bit thin. That's the great thing about tea. Even if it's thrice brewed, 4 times brewed, you still get a hint, you get just enough to remember the good old days of proper tea.
And just with Dad droning on about tea now, Quinny's looking at Declan like, yeah, okay, pay attention to all this. This is all important.
Yeah, this is good. That's why I'm going to drink so much tea. And it's majestic because these are my parents now. I don't know how anyone does this.
Enjoy the tea.
And Honor System, how are you feeling about this new rural life?
This is nice. This is there is an aspect of my sort of samurai programming that I always neglected, which was the sort of artful, contemplative side that we just never had the time or the occasion for. And now it's like, it's weird using this phrase because this doesn't usually apply to me, but it's like flexing an old muscle that, you didn't get a lot of use out of. And so it is very nice to be tending to agriculture and nurturing life instead of cutting it down.
Cool. So having sort of helped out as you need to, and Quinny and Declan kind of having come to an odd family pact. Quinny, you got to get back inside and start getting ready for this feast that's coming up. And Declan and Honour System, I think your plan is kind of to just kind of hang back during this, if attend at all. I think the accord that you've come to with Butthole and sort of the ruling council of Forlorn Hope is that as you integrate into Dumb Faerûn, it's going to take some time. So like your presence is always appreciated but never expected at this point. You guys are definitely pulling your weight and helping out. I think there's some suggestion that Seamus should probably go for further socialization and getting to hang out with Ginny and the crew, but it's up to you whether or not you'd both be going. Do you think you would go, or would you take a pass on this, or would you like stay at distance like Scrooge at that Christmas party that he can't really fully participate in with his nephew Fred?
I think if there's a big event going on where scumbags could show up, I don't think Declan could not attend if Seamus was attending. He doesn't really give a shit about the party. He's not there to make friends. It's just skulking at the corners with like a gun, just watching the crowd. Because he's not here to sit. It's like there are 2 people he gives a shit about in that, 3. There's Honour System, I guess his parents, now that he's absorbed parents. But it's like Butthole and Seamus both get out of this room alive. And if it's only one of them, theoretically it's Butthole because he can bring back Seamus.
Cool. So just taking the reality TV show contestant angle of I didn't come here to make friends and...
Yeah, he'll make friends when he's farming. He doesn't make friends when there's a party where everyone could die.
Yeah, that's fair. How about you, Honour System?
If Declan and Seamus are going, then Honor System's going to go. But that's probably what he thinks about it. Like it's not thinking about fun. He's thinking about the two people I care about are going. I'm going to go with them.
Cool. So with that, you, Quinny, you kind of bid farewell to the future folk and make your way back towards the fortress. So things are starting to ramp up a bit. There's an excitement in the air as the day kind of goes on. As we established, Ginny's conversations weren't necessarily all in a single day. These are kind of like conversations she's been having with you over time. We established kind of who was sent where, and kind of what you've mostly been up to. Quinny, outside of Ginny, is there anything in particular you think you would have been doing during this downtime?
I'm just trying to prep for this mission, and I don't know how much prep I really can do. Seeing to Ginny's education probably took up a significant amount of time, scheduling that, planning that, making sure everyone that I wanted her to meet was available and stuff like that. I don't really have a ton of intimate details about the adamantine tunnel or mine, do I?
No, I mean, well, this does beg an interesting question, which I guess is actually more of a Ryan question. How much would Reginald have brought Quinny in on this? Because despite, the continued like one of you plays by the rules and one of you is a cop who doesn't know the meaning of the word rules. You did spend some time in each other's bodies and have gotten to know each other pretty well. And I think, Reginald, for you particularly, in this phase of the operation, having a sneaky stabby boy on hand is probably pretty helpful. But I'm curious, because with the paranoia that could offset. So how much would Reginald have brought Quinny in?
I think he'd bring him pretty fucking in. He's been around this group long enough that they're clearly not going to just like throw him away, which is usually where it's like, oh, if he had to be really paranoid, if it was right at the beginning, he wouldn't give them any information because he needs to make sure that nobody's going to like leave him behind or fuck him over. But as far as he can tell, they all seem to like him. They've put him in charge. And everybody just seems a little bit stupid enough that they're going to hold by this stupid deal that they made. So I think he would definitely lay out like the mine, whatever mapping he could. Quinny's also like super murdery and like better for him to know, because if he can get out of a situation Reginald can't, it's not like, and now Quinny, math out this whole city you need to save me. He's like, no, this guy's useful. He can sneak. Fuck it. Here's all of the details that he knows. He'd give him everything except how to get into the vault.
Great. So would you also be laying this out for Juniper and Butthole? Like, is this?
Yeah,
okay.
He's got nothing to hide.
So
from
let's
that
assume
gang.
then that because obviously you guys are going on this mission, you are not suddenly discovering this mission as characters. You are as players. So let's say there was a briefing then in sort of the like Dragon Age Inquisition style, like council room where like, Annan and everyone else of note who knows about the suicide mission is present. Maps and diagrams are drawn and placed. Basically, Reginald, what you would know about this mine is that in your grimdark Faerûn, it was pretty much mined into oblivion, highly dangerous. Adamantine ore is mined from meteorites, so from things that have landed.
Ooh.
So the mine itself isn't necessarily a natural vein, so much as a long-ass time ago, a meteorite crashed into Faerûn, splintering a bit on entry, and over, centuries, however long, Earth kind of swallowed it up. So the mine is basically...
It's Sudbury.
Yeah, it's Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. It's you've solved my puzzle, Laura. It's I love references. I was gonna have Solid Snake show up, but no, it's just Sudbury, Ontario.
Yeah.
That's the place we're
That's
doing.
what happened.
Yes. What you know then, Reginald, is the material itself is difficult to mine. This particular kind of excavation site was plagued by early on was plagued by some sort of natural predators and some like essentially redacted monster types that attack things. That said, because you're from Grimdark Faerûn, when that hammer drops, it drops real hard, real fast. So in classic Zap Brannigan fashion, just a bunch of troops were sent deep into the mines, and even though only a few of them came out, problem was solved through much blood. And the mining operation was allowed to continue. So you're able to draw out kind of a roughly what you remember. It's not a highly detailed map by any stretch, but it's honestly kind of what you would probably draw in a D&D session from memory, which is just like the entry point is roughly here. I remember there were exits here and here. I think for your own personal learning, you would have been aware of this mine because it was a potential weak spot to enter Aka, which of course would have been concerning for you. But General Glassstaff had it on lockdown, so like it wasn't it's not like it was that fucking like weird path from Thermopylae where it's like only one person knew there was this incredibly detailed flaw that could destroy an army. It's like a lot of people knew about this. The general knew about it. It was a widely known fact. But as a scared, paranoid, coward man, I think those are the ones that stand.
Mm-hmm,
like
definitely.
You're the one guy at the Death Star who's like, but we're gonna plug that fucking port, right? So yeah, from memory, you can remember in your time there were a few entrances in, 3 sort of distinct entrances. Only one of which syncs up with what Mog is able to tell you from the not Mog, Doc Huckleberry is able to tell you from the party that he sheltered with for a bit, who visited the mines in this dimension. So you've been able to find out kind of like what the best entry point is from your perspective. Where the central core meteorite is. So the excavation site is built around a large central chamber for the excavation of the sort of body of the rock. But there are a bunch of other side shafts and smaller digs built out of it to attend to all the other fragments and shards that dropped. You're less concerned about those, and you actually don't really have much of a map for them. A lot of them are dead ends. They're those chambers in a video game where you would find like a single item and then just turn around and come back. But that central excavation site is a big, big, big open space. And based on the reports you got from the survivors Doc Huckleberry talked to, there are monsters. Whatever monsters your people were able to stomp out were never stomped out here. Mm-hmm. So if there was a place that was going to be bad, it's that central chamber is a necessary evil you'll need to cross. Beyond that, there is a sort of, more tunnels, obviously, but there is a large processing space for kind of the lifting up into easy shipping and carting distance of a car. And that's kind of how you'll be able to make your way up. If your memory serves, there was kind of a processing facility on the edge of sort of the central city, but due to the abundance of adamantine-based armor and weapons in your time, the need for a very easy delivery system was there. By the time you were born, this mine was pretty well tapped out. But, the old facility still lives there, kind of like an old shipping depot or something in a large city that's attached to train tracks a train doesn't ride on anymore. So those are the main details you've got. Is there anything else, Ryan, that you think Reginald would be particularly aware of or would want to convey beyond what I've just told the group?
I think that's it. This plan's going to be pretty flexible. So it's like we go through the mine, whatever bad shit there we have to get, whatever bad shit's there we have to get through, and then we ride the thing up, and then from there we get to the palace somehow, and we're going to have to kind of wing that because honestly, a car kept changing when I was there. I have no fucking clue what it's like for you people, and then get into the palace, kill the bad guys, open the vault, I get my black goo thing, and you guys can all pick whatever you get that's left.
Sure. Black goo thing?
We don't need to go too deep in this, but as we know, I get the first pick of something in the vault, and then you guys get a pick, and then we just keep going back and forth.
That's the deal we made. This is the first time hearing anything about it. It's a black goo that you want. That's your treasure.
Yeah, so my dad, who was like impossible to kill, let me tell you, he had this weird black goo creature that would like cover his whole body, and it made him like super strong and like super scary. I don't know. Did you guys ever see that with him?
I don't think we saw that, right? When we met him?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we saw that.
Wait, we did?
Oh, yeah, the black thing. Yeah, that's... We killed that.
That's gone. Yeah. That's...
Wait, what?
It's not as great as you're making it sound, to be honest.
It's dead?
It is, yes.
Yeah, we killed it because it was evil and he was evil. So we killed one and then the other and...
He was using it to become some kind of giant demon monster.
Yeah, but I wanted to become the giant demon. Okay, then what do they have that'll prevent me from dying? What makes me really strong in a car?
I don't know.
We're there.
Buddy, yeah.
But you're also here. I think we don't need to go. I think we could stay. I think it'll be totally fine. There's nothing for me in that vault.
I honestly think being the rightful king's brother puts you in a pretty strong position in a car.
I mean, maybe, but like, what? Is there something like really cool in the vault that will help make me stronger and more safe?
Honestly, I think we all thought you knew what was in the vault just because of the way you were talking about it. I didn't realize it was some shit that we'd already dealt with.
You gotta know, you were in the Thieves Guild. Just tell me there's something really good in that vault, Quinny. Just tell it to me.
Oh, buddy, you wouldn't believe it. There's something so good in there.
Okay, now tell me what it is.
It's a different black goo.
Oh, how's it different?
A backup goo?
A backup goo.
See, you just called it a glue. I think this is fucking bullshit. There's no way you
man,
guys have
you're asking me to bullshit on the spot. Of course it's bullshit. I don't know.
Oh, God. I'm gonna die on a suicide mission for nothing. Oh, no.
I mean, Reginald, if it makes you feel better, if you don't come with us and help us, we're probably gonna die here.
Okay, this probably sounds kind of weird, but that is way more what I'm used to. It's like, I mean, Butthole, can you repeat that but in like a meaner way? I mean, okay, but if you don't go with us, I'm gonna kill you.
Meaner. Can you do meaner?
Oh.
Can you go meaner, Butthole?
Oh, I mean, I could try. If you don't go with us, I'm gonna kill you. And he uses a cantrip to make all the fires explode, and his voice gets 3 times as loud. And Reginald's like, that feels so much better. Okay, I can do this.
Juniper pulls out Dr. Martha's notepad to just make some very quick notes about things to discuss with Reginald if we ever make it back.
And then just leans over to you, Butthole, and says, look, far be it from me to tell you your business on this particular front, but I've got a feeling that your erstwhile brother might respond well to the Forsaken, if that's a voice you want to dust off. I feel like everyone.
Do you think
in
we
his
should
world,
call him?
Well, I mean, we could try and we could call him if you want the Von Strauss to do it, but like you could also just do the voice.
Oh, yeah, that's why I keep this helmet. He goes to the corner, opens a cabinet, and inside it's like the Batman outfit of just the Forsaken armor hanging with magical purple and red lights. So it's in the most menacing look ever. And he just takes off the helmet from the Batman suit and he puts it on and he turns around and he just says, "Death comes for us all, but tomorrow it comes for you, motherfucker!" And Reginald's like, this guy's so scary. I am the Forsaken, and you will be my champion. There are great things in the vault. One of them so great I will not name it. Do you understand? Yeah, I'm going to go to this vault for this great thing. Who's this scary guy? We should make this person king. And then Butthole takes off the helmet, and he's like, this is so disappointing. He puts the head back on the suit and closes it up.
And it's like, look, sometimes you just got to speak to someone in their own language. It is what it is. Also, like, thank you for hanging the helmet back up. It's important that it remains pristine for future tours.
It's the least I could do. Also, now we know, worst case scenario, I die. See if you can get in touch with von Strauss. Apparently, people respond to this as a style of leadership.
Yeah,
Get him
I don't
back,
get it. I
make it
threatened
work.
him for real, and he laughed it off. But whatever.
Wait, when did you threaten him?
Oh, like ages ago. You were dead or somewhere. I'm just upset about it. It's fine. I'm a little,
Well, I mean, why didn't you wear
whatever.
a mask? If you had a mask like that and did a super cool voice, you would have been terrifying. Instead, you're just a very tiny man who's mad.
I had real demon powers.
Yeah, but I mean, we've all got weird powers.
And looks around the room. Yeah, we do.
You just see like the moss like amalgamation of like all of her different forms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Like we've learned that Bucky could have gone down a path where he becomes like a monstrous demon monster. You've got like a samurai robot from the future.
Yeah.
Reginald, who could turn into smarter, handsomer, and more murderous animalistic versions of himself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Enough examples. I get it. When he says to himself, looking and thinking these things.
Annan's got the scariest power of all, organizational thinking.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. So having, by hook and crook, convinced Reginald that he should come along, a rough plan sort of forms that, again, in terms of the key part of this plan ultimately is what happens once you get into the city, which I think like we're not describing right in this moment because we'll do it closer to. But Reginald has a good sense of like how the city is laid out in his time. To his point, it does change a lot, but also weirdly, and Butthole, like you would know this, but I don't know if you would convey this or if you'd even think of this, but like Reginald's a cause kind of like King's Landing if there were no White Walkers in Game of Thrones, where it's just like constantly people are like sieging it, taking it, like there's internal power struggles. There's all sorts of like little lords and fiefdoms, a little bit like the dark elves in Warhammer, where it's just like there's constant backstabbing, or honestly Menzo Brandon in this world that we're in, rather than a different franchise. There's just constant maneuvering, and as a result, it is always changing. Whereas under the iron fist of Emily and the Reginald of this time, it's like Rome under a singular emperor. Like it hasn't changed that much. So anyway, all that to say, once you're in the stockhouse, a lot of things open up for you in terms of like how you can approach the city, and that's kind of where Reginald's plan picks up. In the meantime, this mine does get you past the wall, it gets you past the defenses, and more importantly, in his time, this was an abandoned place. And Butthole, you've never even heard of this thing. In his time, it was like tapped out and kind of guarded. In your time, it was abandoned. Mm-hmm. So it should be a blind spot that you can exploit in this time. Okay. So with all that in mind, then, Quinny, bring us back to the present. You'd mentioned that you would be trying to prep for this with the details you've got. Knowing now kind of the rough shape of things, is there anything else you would be preparing or thinking about prior to the mission?
Butthole and Reginald and Juniper are coming on this mission. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone's wearing plate mail but me. And so there's a stealth component here that needs to be addressed. I mean, I've got a ring of invisibility that I can give to one person, but then, and I can take care of myself well enough, but then I got to start thinking about how we're going to get these other folks through as quickly and quietly as possible. It sounds like there are horrors beyond imagination in this mine, and we will likely have to address that. But it would be nice to do that on our terms instead of being surprised in the dark. So I would be looking to just run down like an inventory list of things to help us, like see in the dark, and to help us stay hidden and quiet. Whether that means like requesting a fucking paint job on the armor or magical concealment of some kind. I know we, for a while, had owl goggles as like night vision goggles that I think got busted into two separate like monocle style ones. I can't remember who those were divided up to, but I'd be looking through basically like, what do we got here at Forlorn Hope to help these less than stealthy folk kind of get on my level a little bit.
I think my half of the monocle of the owl was lost, right?
Okay.
With me.
We're down to one then.
So I think the easiest solution to this in Forlorn Hope right now is of the potion variety.
Sounds good.
So I think we could safely say that, like, and I won't make us roll for this because I think these would be easy enough to slap together. You're able to put together some potions of dark vision.
Excellent.
To give you some night sight. And I think, let me just roll let's see how many of these you can have from our stock of stuff. Okay. You're also able to put together 4 potions of soft step, which basically they don't make you completely silent, but they basically will take a loud clinking person and make them instead sound like someone wearing just a plethora of coats. So you still make noise. You're not like, the wind, but it's less footfalls and the sound of armor are muffled.
Got it.
Basically just removing it doesn't give any advantage on stealth, but it removes the disadvantage that your compatriots would otherwise have.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
I will say though that these are like sort of one-shot limited use type things, so it'll be up to you whether you want to blow them in the mine or keep them for a ka.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Cool. So with all of our kind of major preparations, Juniper, was there anything else you would have wanted to be new? I know you've mostly been on growing things and occasional Martha-ing duties.
Yeah, and just honest, like a lot of her time is being spent, like she feels ready for like combat. She feels ready for like the mission, I think. And just continuing to use like a lot of her spare time to consider how they're going to start enacting new laws in a new land.
Yep, gotcha.
I mean, that's where her brain's at.
Totally. And Butthole, is there anything
Not that
else
she
you want?
has any answers.
No, but I mean, it's a good question to have at the very least.
Yeah, Butthole, this could very well happen at the feast. He just knows he needs to have like a side conversation with Quinny before they go out on this mission at some point. But it's not super pressing until they're going to leave.
You can have that now. I mean, like,
Great.
This is where we're in the build up to like having to make your treats and pick your songs and then go to a party. So if you want to have an additional conversation with any amount of privacy, now is probably the
Great. He goes over and he knocks on Quinny's door. It's like, knock, knock, knock.
Come in.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Just getting the final touches ready. I managed to score some potions here that'll help keep you less stealthy folk a little bit on the quieter side. So I'm hoping that'll be useful.
Oh, nice. Are they going to shrink us down and make us small like you?
No, nothing like that. Literally just make you quieter. That's I said what they'll do. They'll make you quieter.
Yeah, I just thought it would have been a cool way to make us quieter. Okay, just a second. And he's closing the door behind him and he locks it. And he's like, we kind of need to have this like weird conversation.
Oh, God. What, you think a conversation's going to be weird?
Yeah, because you made it weird with your previous thing, and I'm trying to figure out what's weirder now. So you said that if you died, you didn't want me to bring you back anymore. That was your official rule. Was no more bringing me back because I'm Quinny and I just want to be dead forever. And I could respect that as a thing you wanted. But that was before the world was full of zombies and you have a daughter in it. And I don't know if you're still like, if I die, fuck it, game over. Or if I die, bring me back so I can look after my daughter.
If I die,
Okay.
please do everything you can to make sure that Ginny is safe and okay. And if Ginny asks for it, you can talk to her about bringing me back or whatever. But that's a conversation you have with her because you'll have made sure that she is alive and well.
Okay. So if she's dead, you stay dead.
If she's dead, I got a whole other fucking problem. Oh God, I don't even like thinking about it.
I know. That's why I'm getting everybody helmets for this mission. But, like, I'm also getting her a helmet. And we'll make her wear it all the time, and she'll be okay. But if she dies, then there's nobody for me to talk to, so you don't want to come back. Not to avenge her, not to try to bring her back to life, none of that. You're like, nope, she's
why
gone.
wouldn't you bring Ginny back?
Wait,
Juniper, sure, please,
Sorry,
come on
hi.
in. I fucking love this. This is great. Everybody come in and talk about how I'm going to fucking die.
No, I locked the door. How did you get through that door?
Oh, did you lock the door?
Yeah, which sneaky person are you right now?
I think Juniper knocks on the door then.
Oh, Juniper's just listening through the
Yeah.
door. I'm so sorry, Quinny. I tried to keep this between us.
No,
And
no, it's
luckily
great.
you weren't
Why
praying,
do I
so it's
even
fine.
have a door? Super. You know me, Quinny Brown Barrow, open door policy. Love
Come
it.
on.
Love it when people get involved in my life.
Oh, good. Okay, come on in, Juniper. He loves it when people get involved in his life. And Butthole lean in the hallway. Does anybody else want to come in and get involved in Quinny's life?
Butthole! Shut up and get in here.
You guys are so lucky that Yevgenovich had just turned a corner and couldn't quite hear that, because this was going to be a very different sequence.
Okay, so that's... Otherwise, I have to talk to Ginny before I save you?
Yeah.
Okay,
It should be up to her.
so it's up to her. But if she's dead, then you stay dead forever because you don't want to save her or you
Stop
don't want to
saying it,
avenge
man.
her.
You got it. Whatever, you got it, okay? You've got it memorized and figured out. You don't have to keep saying it.
I just want to make sure that these are the terms. I need enthusiastic verbal consent for this to be the way things are set up.
It's given.
Okay, that's good.
Juniper, you had a take on this,
Any-
though, yeah.
Anything you'd like to add?
I'm just one.
Sorry, Juniper, I can't hear you. Sorry.
So how is Ginny dying? I mean, if
Oh my
It's-
God, I'm so sorry I asked.
I mean,
Please
theoretically,
we would bring
so-
her
get
back.
out, everyone
right?
get out.
Well, I mean, if
Everyone get
something
out.
bad happened and then her head got crushed, then
Jesus,
she'd be
I'm
dead.
leaving. I'm goodbye. Enjoy my room. Goodbye.
I feel like
And
I
Quinny
might
leaves.
have a new spell I could do that might be able to bring her back, though. But then if I bring her back, then I would have to ask her if she wanted Quinny
Yes.
back. So then I could theoretically bring Quinny back too. So
Good. I just wanted to be sure we had this sequence of events planned out so there was no confusion in a time of crisis.
yeah. The moment Ginny's head goes splat, we just got to make sure Quinny doesn't die because it'll speed
right.
the whole thing up.
Sorry, Quinny.
I mean, I'm not sorry.
He's
This has been
gone.
pretty good. And Butthole will leave and then immediately go to Ginny's room. Knock, knock, knock.
And you just hear like the thump of daggers against a target, and she says, "Oh, hang on, sorry, one sec." And then you just hear the telltale teenage sound of like clothes being pushed behind or into something, just slightly out of the way so she can open the door. And she opens it, and she's like, "Oh, Uncle Butthole, good to see you."
Yeah, so I have like a weirdly specific question for you, but I figured we can make this pretty quick. If your dad dies, do you want me to bring him back to life?
Yeah, obviously. What kind of question is that?
Cool. And if that happens, like, I don't know,
Well,
a
wait,
week from
actually,
now,
hang on. How does he feel about this?
what he said was if he died, that I had to talk to you to see if you wanted him brought back to life. So here's the
Right.
deal. We're going on a mission where it's like highly possible that he's going to die, but you're not
Wait,
going to
what?
be there to have like a chat with me. So I was thinking we could probably just like call this in advance. If you change your mind and you apparently hate him in like 3 months, I don't know, you could just like rescind the order. But I figured if you're going to be like, yes, I would still like to have a dad in a week if he dies, I'll bring him back.
Yeah, that's cool. So, okay, if he said I can make the call, then I'm making the call. Yeah, don't let him die. That'd be ideal, I think.
Excellent.
I mean, it's strange that we're talking about the ability to choose between life and death in magic terms these days. You're super powerful. It's super weird. Honestly, in Quintown, we're just kind of like, cool, like, that's that, I guess. This is all very, very strange and metaphysical in an odd way. But what's this little mission you're talking about? This where we might all get killed mission thing.
Oh, yeah,
that
it's
I
the
won't
same
be a
mission
part
we're
of.
all on to save the world. You know what I'm talking about.
I do, but not in a we're going on this right now kind of way. Are you guys sneaking off in the middle of a party to go on a deadly mission?
Okay. And he just like shoves his way into the room and closes the door. And he's like, there is a secret mission that you can't tell anybody about.
Well, fucking okay. Can I come on it?
Ask your dad.
No. That's not how this works, Uncle Butthole. You're the king, so I think this is kind of a your call. And also, like, he's passing the buck to me about whether you use your fart powers to like bring him back to life. So it's kind of sounds like this is a conversation.
Okay, that was like a next of kin situation. But here's the big question: how old are you?
Like, how old do I need to be to go on the mission?
I'm not telling you that. You have to tell me how
my age is however old I need to be to go on the mission. Obviously,
I will go talk to somebody else and get your actual age.
Look, I helped you kill the fries. I'm that old. How about that?
Listen, that is all true, but I need to find out from somebody else. I gotta have a stupid spell for this somewhere. I don't. Here's the deal. I gotta go talk to your mom to find out how old you are, and then we can figure out whether or not you're legally able to make this decision yourself.
And she like does a very teenage like huffs the hair out of her face and like crosses her arms angrily. She's like,
"Do you want to go with me to talk to her?"
No, I'm 16. Okay, I'm 16.
Yeah, see, 2 more years, and then you can make that decision on your own. So all I'm saying is, you got to keep the secret. And if your dad and your mom both say that you can go, then you can go. Because I snuck off to become a mercenary when I was 16 and killed a bunch of people and didn't die. And I think you are capable.
Well, it's just a shame, Uncle Butthole, because I was really looking forward to learning my trade as a cleric on this secret mission. You know, it seems like a really good time to get some real, hands-on battlefield training of how to really, spread the word of whatever. Oh, I mean, you said it's kind of become like the avatar of the like the god of thieves. So I was kind of looking at that maybe. But I guess if I'm just here, I could always just remain a no good rapscallion like my father and just turn my back on religion entirely.
Okay, so wait, you're becoming a cleric?
Well, I mean, if I was going on a mission as deadly as this one, it would seem like we would probably need all the clerical support we could get. But
that's true. That's true. Okay. What's your god?
His name is Grufus, lesser god of thieves.
The god of thieves.
You know when you leave a store and you accidentally have something inside something else, you didn't realize that you're stealing it. That's Grufus. That's what Grufus looks over. He's not like the big god of thieves. He's just like the god of like small thieving, of accidental thieving, like low level IP. Like you didn't realize that the tale the bard was singing was similar to one that bard had heard in another town. Grufus, definitely a real god. You can look him up. He's in one of the books somewhere.
I mean, I've killed the god of finger puppets, so like I hear you. Weird gods definitely exist. What was your awakening? What was happening?
Well, it's Uncle Butthole. I gotta tell you, it's the damnedest thing. I heard that everyone I know and love, aside from my mom and this girl I'm trying to talk to, is gonna go on this mission that might get them all killed. And nothing helps you find religion faster than everyone I know might die unless they have help from a higher power. And I've got some higher power. She pulls a dagger out of the wall. She's like, but it would seem to me that if religion's what it's going to take for me to get to help on this, then that's my awakening. I gotta bring Grufus on this mission so that you can all steal minor things if you need them.
Okay, I feel
Praise
like this has to be
Grufus. May your fingers be sticky.
I feel like this probably has to be at this point deception versus insight. So let's find out.
I'm gonna roll disadvantage because she's legitimately not very good at this. But I rolled well, so it may not matter.
I rolled a 25 on insight.
I got a 19, so you win.
Yeah, well, you made up your god, and that's not how awakenings work. Talk to your mom and dad, and they agree to do it. Keep the secret, and you're grounded.
Uncle Butthole, you and I have had some chats, and when you first discovered Moonhammer, didn't my dad think you'd made Moonhammer up, and didn't you kind of only get confirmation that Moonhammer was real like much later?
Okay, here's the thing. Moonhammer gave me powers. Show me your cleric powers right now. Do a cleric power, and I'll believe you.
All right, Ryan, I'm going to need a perception check from you as she rolls a sleight of hand check.
I was going to say, Tom,
Yep.
among my many new skills that I have is this amazing spell called Detect Magic that he would like to use during this feat of ability.
Sure. So you're using it in order to determine if Ginny is channeling the power of Griffiths.
Correct.
Yeah. No, she tries to nick something from you to do a flourish. She also does it badly. So she goes for one of the small hammers and like fumbles it awkwardly and does a whole like Jackie Chan trying to save an urn bit where she's like bouncing it from hand to hand, and eventually it like smashes a decanter of water next to her bed, soaking several of the pictures that Bucky has drawn for her that are just kind of stacked there. And she just kind of, having rolled an abysmal 9 plus stuff, just like does jazz hands, just like looking at you with like,
Okay, well, first of all, keep that hammer because that was embarrassing and I want you to practice that. Second of all, you're going to need to work with your dad on your lying. That was not magic. That wasn't anything. Maybe try really praying, and Rufus or perhaps one of the other gods might actually grant you the miracle that you want. Otherwise, go talk to your mom and dad, and then you can go to war. On the bright side, I'll guarantee your dad comes back if I do.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think he and I probably need to talk about that later because like I want to respect his wishes and everything, but also this doesn't. I think he's just trying to get around getting farted on. Honestly, I think that's probably really at the core of this. For him.
50-50. He's also died several times and is surprisingly miserable. Before you existed, he was pretty depressed, felt like a failure as a king, and it was all kind of dark. I'm not really... He doesn't... As a cleric, I couldn't help him. As a god, he prayed to me to try to sort everything out. Now, you. See, I'm pretty great at the god stuff. I'm crap at the like talking to Quinny because he doesn't like clerics. But, I mean, you go talk to him, and we'll see if you get your own miracle. Okay, I gotta go, though, because there's lots to prepare for this mission. Don't tell
Wow,
me.
adventuring parties really will do anything instead of go to therapy, huh? All right, yeah, cool. Thanks, Uncle Butthole. And honestly, thank you for the tip about lying. Everyone is really trusting in Cornucopia. It was very easy to lie. You would just say the thing you weren't going to do, and they would believe you. So I guess I keep forgetting that I'm kind of playing in the big leagues now. So thanks. And thanks.
I mean, you're not bad. It was
hammer.
a pretty good sell. But, like, yeah, you just got to step that up a little bit for, like, world leaders.
Yeah. Really do need to practice my world leaders. Okay. See you later, Uncle Butthole. I'll see you at the party.
So he leaves and walks back to Quinny's room. And it's just knock, knock, knock.
Quinny's not back yet. Quinny is behind you. It's like, what? Are you trying to get into my room again?
Oh, no. I just wanted to tell you something. So, I mean, are you going to your room?
I was going back there, yeah. If you
sure.
were looking for me, then I'd know. I'm not going back to my room. I have to be somewhere.
No. Go ahead.
Far away
I'll
from
I'll
you.
tell you a thing and I'll leave so fast you won't even believe it. But just you can go ahead.
I go inside.
And Butthole just leans in the door and he's like, accidentally told Ginny about the mission. And then he closes the door and just books it.
What? And I'm fumbling it for the, like, I'm so angry I can't even open my bedroom goddamn door. Finally wrench the thing open.
Juniper's out in the hallway, just fully Dr. Martha at this point with her notebook, just like coming down the hallway, just like had checked on Ginny, like, you okay? You okay? And then just sees Quinny. It's like, anything you want to talk about?
I'm so angry.
And that's when the alarm klaxon from the front entrance begins to wail.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. DICE. And tune in next week for more Dumbs and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Spot Allen, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG, it's Big Nick, D&D and Things, Norma Byers, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Flea Unit, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumbdumbdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.